I think that's like one of the best part of these calls is like when I see you holding these setups, like especially when you take, I feel like you're a lot more confident on the indices. You'll be like holding that shit. I'm like, dude, if I was up that much, I'll be out of there. And then
Yeah.
I see you holding it 3R, 4R, 5R. I'm like, damn.
Right. Yeah, I think that is my comfy place. Like, I started with Forex, but I do feel that I do perform a lot better with the indices. I think it's more just like it's a reps game, kind of like we're talking about doing the same thing over and over. I have a lot I started with the Forex pairs, but I have a lot more live reps with the indices, especially US 30. Like days like today, I know that there can be movement, but when I see this much chop, like that's just let me know I'm not trading. Doesn't mean that there can't be a move, but man, there's like a hidden secret in trading, and it's just knowing, even if there's the biggest move in the entire market, knowing, okay, today you, as far as your system, you should stay away. I think that's one of the biggest skills you could have is knowing when to do nothing, because that's extremely hard when you're trading and you get on the charts, right? How many days has there been where you just don't take a trade at all, just zero? It's not that often, right? And so it's like you start to cultivate that skill through pain, right? Because you'll trade it and then you'll be like, ah, damn it, I should have known better. I knew today was super choppy, shouldn't have messed with it. And then you just get, so many reps where you're like, man, it's not even worth it. Yeah, and I talked about this on the that podcast too, and hopefully everyone gets to watch it. But you have to think from a long term perspective, and I think that just comes from wisdom, because life works the same way. If right, like just as a very crude example, right? Like think about like someone who does like crime, right? They go and rob somebody. Their thought process is just, I don't have money. How do I fix this situation right now? Right? That's the fastest fix. You just go take someone else's stuff. Right? But if you think about it from a long-term perspective, like, okay, well, if I go take someone's stuff, like that's not going to benefit me. If I act out of emotion right now, it's just going to end up hurting me worse, right? Because whatever, you could get killed, you could get arrested, But if you go, damn, this really sucks, I'm going to just go get a job or start a business or whatever it may be. You have to come at everything from long-term thinking. And it's like, does this trade today really matter at the end of the year, right? Do you want to do something today that's going to sabotage your P&L in December, right? That's kind of how I'm thinking, is like, yeah, it's only June, right? But that's what I'm thinking about. I have December in mind, where I'm like, where am I trying to be in December? Not where am I trying to be by Friday? Where am I trying to be at the end of the week? Right? My horizon is longer. I had one of my mentors. He explained it. He said it's like an airplane. You have to give yourself a very long runway, because most people think that, I only need a mile long runway. My plane will be able to take off. But what happens if your plane doesn't lift off and you're at the end of that mile runway? You're going to crash. But the longer the runway, okay, say you have 100-mile runway. Are you going to need 100 miles to take off in a plane? No. But if you get to mile one and you're like, ah, shit, I don't have enough to get off the ground right now. Guess what? You got 49 more miles or whatever it is to keep yourself safe, right? And so that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. My runway is January to December. That's how I'm thinking about it. Now, I have my quarterly runways where I'm like, okay, this quarter, how am I doing? Am I doing okay? Well, I'm a little lower than I was last year, right? And I start kind of tweaking those things. Well, how are my weeks looking? And I'll kind of go from there. But the longer your runway is, the safer you'll be, right? I think a year is good. I guarantee you, there's some extremely large traders out there that they have a 5 year runway. They're probably in down draw for the year with a huge $500 million fund. They're not even worried about it. They're like, oh, this is okay. We're only down a little bit, right? We know that in our 5 year runway, based on our system, things are going to turn around and we're going to make another $150 million at the end of that 5 years, but it's just giving yourself that safety net, I guess would be the best way to say it, rather than runway. But just making sure that, okay, if things don't go like you expect, you have room, you have time. Another quick tip is just the markets are going to keep moving. You have to resist that urge of like, you have to trade right now because there's an opportunity right here, right now. You have to suppress the emotional, like, to jump at it. And you have to start resisting that. And again, that only comes through reps. That comes through live reps, right? Not back testing, not cutting through. It comes from doing the hard work, just sitting here and staring at the charts. I used to tell this to my VIP students all the time. And those of y'all that don't know, I'm in Texas, so bit of a redneck, I guess you could say, from some people's perspectives. But we used to hunt deer growing up, right? And again, this is another crude example, but a lot of people would do really well, and a lot of people wouldn't, right? And the difference, that the people that would do well were the really old guys. The people that wouldn't do so well were the younger guys. And so I kind of started just thinking about, okay, well, what are these old dudes? They just have the best spots, or what is it? And so it's not like small, but we're all hunting the same deer, same way as we're all on here hunting the same charts. The people that did better were the older guys because they weren't in a hurry. They enjoyed just sitting in the woods more than they did getting that kill. The younger guys were going in, they just want to kill a deer. That's it. So they show up a little late and they leave a little early. Those old men, they're up at 3:30 making their coffee. Everyone else is done around 9:30. They sit till 10:30, 11. And that is what makes them better, is they're just sitting there. And to the young guys, it's like watching paint dry. Like, that's what I used to tell everyone on the VIP, is like, as boring as it is, most days we sit here until 10 o'clock. Not every day, but most days, even if we're not trading, right? We haven't taken a trade in the last, what was it? Probably hour and a half. But why did we spend the rest of this time on the charts? Because we're watching paint dry. We're just watching the charts print candles. And as much as it feels like, oh, we're not really gaining anything from that, you're building in an understanding, and you're creating a larger range of opportunity for yourself to be able to catch something. Because we talked about this the other day too. 95% of what your brain picks up is from your subconscious. And once you start to kind of program your subconscious into these charts and be okay with just sitting and watching the charts going, there's not an opportunity here, there's not an opportunity here, there's not an opportunity here, right? It trains your brain. So when you do see that opportunity, you know it's go time. But you're not seeking that dopamine rush of, let me get a trade today, let me get a trade right now. Which, in the analogy, that's how the young guys think. And there's not a single person in here that can say that wasn't your mentality your first 6 months in trading, because it's human nature. Everyone comes to trading, they're like, first day on the charts, give me my trade. Where's my trade? Where's that pattern that I studied last night, right? But that's not where the skill is. The skill is from the boring ass stuff like this, just watching the charts, waiting, just looking for a setup, marking it up. There must have been something good in there. There's still 17 people in here, so hope y'all are getting something out of that.
Bro, the runway example is freaking golden.
Good.
I could 100% say the biggest problem and why it's taken me so long to get to my profitability, or close to profitability at this point, is just the fact that I was like, all right, we're gonna flip this account this week. We're gonna do 200% this week. Like, and I just kept doing that and doing that and doing that and doing that. And then until I understand with funded challenges and all this stuff, it's like, dude, you could wait and your wins are going to be so much bigger, because now you have the capital to make the same amount of money, and that could just be 1%, 2% of your account. You don't have to risk the whole account to get rich this week.
Right.
And even if it's not this week, look at it from, like you said, like, make the runway longer, right? Allow yourself time to become the person that you're trying to become.
Exactly. Exactly.